Hey y'all!
Hey!
Welcome to Southern Sober and Sassy. I'm Amy.
I'm Kristy.
And today, Kristy is going to talk about
a merry-go-round named denial.
Don't even know I'm lying, sister.
Yeah.
All right, let's get started.
Don't even know I'm doing it. So this topic talks about family members and what their part is in regards to keeping the addiction going. So we're going to use the analogy of a merry-go-round. And the addict and the alcoholic is in the middle of the merry-go-round, and they're just laid back. And they're just riding the ride, man. They are just... Oh yeah, push it harder. I keep pushing it. Okay, they're laid back. So who's pushing the merry-go-round? Family members. And those family members don't even know that they're pushing it. So we're going to talk about family members or friends or co-workers who are pushing the merry-go-round but don't even know that they're pushing it. So we're going to give you awareness today of, oh my gosh, what have I been doing, and what it does for the addict and the alcoholic when you push the merry-go-round, and also what it does for you whenever you stop.
Yeah.
Whenever you stop pushing the merry-go-round, and we're going to pick apart the problem, but we're going to end with this solution. So one of the things that I always use when I sit down with a family is this analogy, and it's kind of the same as the merry-go-round, but this is the addict and the alcoholic, and each one of these fingers is a family member, and they provide comfort to the addict and the alcoholic. So the addict and the alcoholic's running this show, okay, and they're telling each family member how they're going to feel, how hard they're going to work, how much money they're going to spend, where they're going to take him, how much money they're going to give her, and when they're going to bring her clothes and bail her out again and again and again and again and again. So the addict and the alcoholic is moving all of these people around. They're running the show. And then you enter into recovery, and the professionals come in and say, stop providing comfort, because this is comfortable. Why would he want to quit? He gets to drink and drug, and you pay all of his consequences for him. Why would he want to quit? So the goal is to pull the family apart with awareness and pull them back to where they take their power back. Because right here, they have no power. The addict and the alcoholic has the power. So you just loosen the grip and you pull back, and then the addict and the alcoholic is very uncomfortable, which is exactly where we want him to be.
Yep.
In order to get desperate enough to go to treatment or rehab and to do something different. So the more uncomfortable he feels, the gift of desperation starts to set in. And the family members are going to want to come back over here and start, oh, he's crying. This is dependent, and he has never learned to be independent because of this right here. So you pull the family away and say, he's going to be okay. He needs to learn to push the merry-go-round himself, but hopefully he'll get so dizzy and tired of pushing the merry-go-round himself that he'll walk off the merry-go-round and walk off the playground too, which is what you were saying. And everyone gets to recover. So these are 3 simple examples of roles that family play that family members play. And this is a learned behavior. We have been learning this behavior for a very long time. So you have to give yourself a break and just know that we're teaching you to do something different, and that new muscle has to be strengthened by doing it again, doing it again,
yep.
doing it
Moving
again.
that muscle, changing a thought.
Moving a muscle, changing a thought. Moving a muscle, changing a thought. And Amy said it best just a second ago. She said, the family members not only need to stop pushing that merry-go-round, but they need to not only walk away from the merry-go-round, but leave the playground altogether and get in the car and drive away.
Yeah, like when you were younger and on the playground and the kids were bullying you, what'd you do? That's what I did in my active addiction. I bullied everybody.
Mm-hmm.
They were fearful if they didn't do what I said. You know, I threatened I was going to take myself out. I threatened they couldn't see my kids. I threatened all these things. And they fell for it because they were so fearful, because I became the bully.
Yeah. And it's also known as Manipulation 101.
Yes.
Lord have mercy. So this information is actually taken from an Al-Anon pamphlet called Alcoholism, a merry-go-round named Denial.
And I'll put that information in the show notes for everyone.
This little thing right here is about 8 pages long, 10 pages long, and it is absolutely eye-opening. So this is a crash course on it. The goal is to teach us to change our thinking about alcoholism or drug addiction and create a new point of view for ourselves. So our goal is to help you have a new point of view, because we know what the problem is. We know it well.
Take the blinders off.
The goal is to also give you a new attitude which can bring about a miraculous change in everyone's life. Okay? So you have to remember that just one person changing has such a ripple effect, a positive ripple effect. And that the family, instead of, when the family pulls away and they learn new things, instead of pointing the finger at each other, saying, well, you told her no, and the family needs to be each other's support system, support each other, and work in unity, not division. And so it's okay for the sister to do something different. It's okay for the mom to do something different. It's okay for the dad to do something different. Just because something is different doesn't mean it's wrong. It's just different. Just because something is different doesn't mean it's bad. It's just different. But when one person starts to make a positive change, it has a massive ripple effect in a positive way. So, all right, we're going to give you 3 main learned behaviors. The enabler. The first person to appear is the one we might call the enabler, the helpful Mr. or Mrs. Clean, who may be impelled by his own anxiety and guilt to rescue his friend, the alcoholic, from his predicament. This denies the alcoholic the process of learning by correcting his own mistakes, and conditions him to believe there will always be a protector who will come to his rescue, even though the enablers insist they will never again rescue him. They always have, and the alcoholic believes they always will. Such rescue operations can be just as compulsive as drinking. So the enabler is the hero, comes in, rescues. However, there is always something for the enabler. The enabler has a hidden motive.
Yeah, they have a role in that person's life to be neat. Maybe they're not needed in other areas of their life, or maybe they're divorced. Maybe it's a parent that's divorced. Maybe it's maybe it's a parent who may be divorced and still are hanging on to their adult child. Maybe, it's a mom, it's a dad. It doesn't matter. And maybe it's your spouse. Maybe it's your sister, your brother. It doesn't matter. It's the fact that that person needs to feel needed somewhere. They're lacking self-worth and self-esteem.
Correct.
So they latch on and they have a role in that person's life to be needed.
So the goal there is to turn away from the addict and the alcoholic and find another healthy thing to feed their self-worth and their self-esteem.
Yeah, because
in a healthy way.
Absolutely.
Instead of an unhealthy way.
Yep.
This just popped in my head. I ran sober living for women for 8 years. So many of those women that came in that were enabled would always say, I wished I had not been enabled. Enabling drew out my using and my drinking. So always remember that. The enabled person, alcoholic or drug addict, really doesn't want to be enabled. They will never say it in active addiction, but they really don't want to be enabled because it prolongs recovery.
Yeah.
It worked against them, not for them.
It's also just like with children. Everybody says, oh, I can't tell my child, I don't want to set any boundaries because I had boundaries growing up. And it's been clinically and medically. If you look at boundaries for children, it's already been proven that children need and want boundaries because boundaries are structure.
Right.
So if everybody had a free-for-all when they were children, it's crazy because, and I know there's studies out there, but if you look at children who were, it was a free-for-all, in their adult life, they are seeking that structure.
Yeah.
If you had children growing up that had strict family, they are seeking flying with the wind and flying by the seat of their pants.
Mm-hmm. A wise woman back in Nashville said to me, it was a simple sentence that made so much sense. She said, Kristy, children thrive from structure. Keyword was thrive. And so that took away the guilt of me parenting my child or having boundaries with my child or rules or whatever. I would always focus on the positive, which was they thrive off of structure and discipline. And back to the sober living homes, my number one thing at that sober living home was structure and discipline, structure and discipline, structure and discipline. Same thing over and over and over and over and over again. An addict and an alcoholic self-destructs when they don't know what to do. When you give them structure and discipline, they're like, okay, I know where I'm going. I know what I'm supposed to do today. I can go do it. You just have to lay it out. A, B, C, 1, 2, 3. Do this right here. And they say, okay, they thrive off of structure and discipline. When they don't have it is when they self-destruct. Next on the list is the victim. The victim is the person who is responsible for getting the work done if the addict or the alcoholic is absent due to drinking or is half on and half off the job or parenting or housework due to a hangover. The alcoholic has become completely dependent on this repeated protection and covers it up and cover up by the victim. Otherwise, he would not continue drinking in this fashion. So the alcoholic and the drug addict depends on the victim to always protect them, cover up the problem, and come in and cushion the blow, cushion the blow, cushion the blow. And last but not least is the provoker. And this person typically is a parent, usually in the family dynamics. The provoker is usually the mom. But so I'm just going to use the mom or the wife, both, as an example. She is hurt and upset by repeated drinking and drugging episodes, but she holds the family together despite all the trouble caused by drinking. In turn, she feeds back into the marriage her bitterness, resentment, fear, and hurt, and so becomes the source of provocation. She controls. She tries to force the changes she wants. She sacrifices, adjusts, never gives up, never gives in, but never forgets. She is constantly adjusting to the crisis and trouble caused by drinking. So, those three family members, the provoker, the victim, the enabler, just those three are just spinning that merry-go-round, round and round and round and round and round and round and round.
Yeah.
And the addict and the alcoholic is dependent upon those three people covering up their problems. And the addict and the alcoholic absolutely loves the ride.
Yeah, especially
loves the ride.
Yeah, especially on a hot summer day. I remember in Oakland, it's Oakland Terrace. It's in downtown Panama City. Growing up, it was a playground, and I remember wanting to be and wanting to be spun on that, or wanting to be swinging. Swinging could also be, but because it was so hot, and so it felt good when it was spinning. The merry-go-round was spinning because I felt the breeze, I felt the cooling, which can also, I think, relate to we as enablers, because I've been an enabler before. You know, I've been a victim. Oh, I could play that role beautifully. Yeah, I could teach you how to be manipulative and play the victim. But I will tell you that I remember in that role of feeling, yeah, I could play all those roles, but I remember being on the playground and wanting to go faster and wanting to go faster, because you know what? When you're going faster, the heat is off of you.
Yeah.
But the heat is really, it's temporary. Just think when we're spinning on that, you know, when you're spinning and spinning, the heat is off, it's cooler. That's why we want people to keep spinning us, because we don't want to feel the heat, because there are consequences when we abuse substances, when we gamble, when we do sex, when we do food, when we do drugs, when we do alcohol, when we do prescription pills, when we do codependency, all of these things that I think there is an addict in all of us. There is something that we're attached to. And working with families, I get this a lot, and I'm sure you do too. It's, you know, you need to fix them. They are the problem there. And I was like, but you are the problem too. Because guess what? You have an addiction. It's that person over there that you say needs to be fixed.
Right.
So you need fixing just as much as they do.
That's so true.
Yeah.
They're addicted. The addict and the alcoholic is addicted to drugs and alcohol. The family members are addicted to the person.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And spinning that merry-go-round, man, you know, you get that high, you get that thrill. Who doesn't get that thrill? I remember spinning on the merry-go-round and running real fast and then holding on to it and jumping on, you know. Those our enablers and our victims, and, you know, guess what? They spin it fast. They even jump on the merry-go-round with the loved one at times.
Yep. Well,
for a break.
Right.
Because they're tired.
Yep. You know, something that you just said is, you know, running and then holding on, and sometimes you don't make it all the way on and you're dragged.
Oh, yes.
And you get the gravel in your shoes and your
Yep.
knees are all tore up, and
Yep.
then you finally let go and you stumble across the ground and you're all beat up because you're just trying to help him. And there's a saying in recovery: let go or be dragged.
Yes.
And that's basically what we're talking about today. So you can let go or you can be dragged. And you know people, it is difficult to shift their thinking that letting go and walking away is actually going to help them. So my question is, well, has it helped what you had been doing? No. It's just making it worse. So addicts and alcoholics need to learn to grow up. They need to learn to grow up, get a job, pay your bills, pay your taxes, be a normal functioning person in society.
Yes.
And it's really not that difficult. It's pretty simple.
Yeah, but Kristy, why would I want to go do all these things when I have all these people around me that are supporting me, that are paying my child care when I needed it, paying my car insurance, paying my cell phone bill? How about bringing groceries over? How about buying clothes? I mean, if I've got all these people doing that, why would I have any incentive to change?
Well,
why?
That is correct. However, we are dealing with a disease that only gets worse, never better.
Yep.
So they are going to need more drugs. They're going to need more alcohol, which means you have to get a second job and you have to work harder, and
That's
you're
right.
getting older and your body is starting to have physical problems because of it, and you've got to dish out $500 instead of $300 for the dope man.
Yep.
And you have to provide another vehicle that they have just totaled.
Right. Yes.
Yeah, and
Yes.
you have to pay for another court appearance, another one, and another one, and another one. And so the disease of addiction only gains speed. And
Actively, yes.
actively.
Yeah, it does.
And with that, the family members have to work harder to keep up with the disease.
Yep.
And eventually they get tired or they get broke and they go bankrupt. They can't afford it anymore. The family system starts to break down. Children move out. The parents may get a divorce. And the family system and all of those people that have been pushing the merry-go-round, they hit rock bottom and they reach out for help.
Yep. And just like we talked about, I mean, it's so hard when you're playing on the playground because you're doing things. I mean, as a child, I remember being on the playground. I remember, the ladders and the swings and the slides and just all the fun things. And I don't even know if they have playgrounds anymore, by the way. I haven't seen a playground in a long time. But the old school playgrounds, I wanted to be liked.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to be on the playground, and you push me on the swing, I'll push you. And then when somebody is mean to us, when we were kids, we walked off the playground.
Mm-hmm.
Why can we not, as adults, walk off the playground?
Well, each one of those people that is pushing the merry-go-round,
yes,
has a hidden motive.
Absolutely.
And that hidden motive usually is the same thing. And it starts with the word A. And it's just one word. Attention.
Uh-huh.
We are all human beings that have such an infectious desire to be needed and to be wanted and to be nurtured and to be loved, but it gets twisted by the disease of alcoholism and addiction. And it takes something that is very pure and it makes it unpure. And while we're pushing that merry-go-round, we don't see that that transition is taking place until everyone crashes and burns.
Yeah.
And when you crash and burn, thank God there is a solution. So,
Yeah, if we're crashing and burning and we're not, if we're still living.
right. And some of us don't make it out. So, solution to the problem, Amy Cooper. There are several solutions to the problem. We're just going to touch on a couple of them just for time's sake. Recovery begins with a solution. Acting in an entirely different fashion. It can be pretty abrupt.
Yeah.
New roles can be learned only by turning to others who understand the play on the playground and putting into practice their insights and knowledge. So this says new roles can be learned only by turning to professionals who understand what the heck is going on. Professionals are called professionals for a reason. Professionals are not a part of the family system at all. So this does not say new roles can be learned by turning to your husband or turning to your sister or turning to your aunt or turning to your daughter, because they're all either directly or indirectly pushing that merry-go-round. We're talking stepping outside of the whole family dynamics to a professional who views it in the big picture. Therefore, when that happens, the family starts to change, and the addict and the alcoholic may recover if the other actors in the play learn how to break their dependency on them by refusing to give in to it. The beautiful word no. The alcoholic cannot keep the merry-go-round going unless the others ride it with him and help him keep it going. I'm going to say that again. The addict and the alcoholic cannot keep the merry-go-round going unless the others ride it with him and help him to keep it going. So it is all about learning how to take away that dependency that the addict and the alcoholic has on each family member. And it's just undoing and unlearning, and you get to learn new stuff.
Well, people don't talk about it enough. And, I was reading Terry Cole's book about her boundaries boss, and it talks about neuroplasticity in there. Because people are I can't learn something new. I'm too old. I can't change my behaviors. And guess what? We all can. It doesn't matter our age. It matters how much effort. Science has proven it, medical has proven it, that our brains are capable of changing, because that's where it is. That's where moving, like you said, move a muscle, change a thought. Mm-hmm. This is where your thoughts are. Our brains, we can reprogram. But guess what? We can't do it when we're still in the dis-ease and in the trenches with our loved one. We've got to get out.
Right.
We've got to get out of the well.
It's not about denial. It's about willingness.
Yeah. And it's not about willpower, because if you are willing to do something, it can be done more than likely. Now, I'm not saying, Kristy, I'm not going to tell you, hey, I want to go to space and be an astronaut. Well, we know that ain't going to fucking happen, okay? But what am I willing to do? Well, I'm willing to go take some classes.
Yeah.
You know, don't know why I'd waste that money on those classes because my brain, I don't know. I mean, you know. But I'm just saying, we all have the opportunity. It's not about willpower. We can't will ourselves anywhere, but if we're willing to learn, tell us what we do.
Well, I'm going to say this just real quick before we get into the action part of this solution. The enablers and the victim too must seek information, insight, and understanding if they plan to change their roles. You're just educating yourself is all you're doing.
Well, we doing. We educate.
Yay. The wife or mother must become active in a program of counseling and therapy if she is to make a basic change in her life. In understanding the role of the three supporting actors in the drama, we must remember that they did not learn to play these roles overnight. They play the role they think is expected of them. They have been taught to act in this way. Okay, so just by everything that you've learned and we've talked about in the past 10 minutes, you have massive awareness. Give yourself some credit. You're now you know. Anything you name can be fixed.
Yeah.
Anything you name can be fixed. The minute that I say I'm an alcoholic, I'm on the road to recovery. The minute that I say I'm the enabler, I'm on the road to recovery. The minute that I say I'm the victim, I'm on the road to recovery. You're already there.
You're
already there.
Yeah, when we own our stories, nobody else can use it against us, twist it around, flip it up, flip it down. When we can own and accept and say, I am, what do I need to do to not be? I am blank. What do I need to do to not be blank?
Right.
Where is my recovery road? Where does my recovery road start? My recovery road starts, and like we were talking about.
Well, it starts immediately. Like what Amy just said, and what I just said, the minute that we say, I am this, recovery has already started. Recovery is not way out there. It's right the minute, it's right here.
That's right.
It's right here.
Yep.
It's right
here.
here. Right here.
Right
your
here.
Nose.
Right.
It just came out of your mouth.
That's right.
It just came out of your mouth. Congratulations. You're now in the solution. So, 4 simple things that you can do for a solution. Because nothing changes if nothing changes. No is a beautiful, empowering, wonderful, positive word. You're going to change the word no from a negative to a positive. When they call, I love you, but no. Can I have some more money? I love you, but no. Can you come bail me out and get me back in good with the boss? I love you, but no. Can you come pick me up from probation? I love you, but no. Can you take me to court again? I love you, but no. And you don't have to explain the no. Well, why? I don't have to answer the why. No is a complete sentence.
Absolutely.
No, period. And then change the subject. I don't have to explain the no. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
And you don't have to be browbeat. I mean, and let me tell you, that's a game changer, because when that word no, it's empowering. It's not only empowering to the person saying it, it can be empowering to the person that's hearing it, because that person's like, wait a minute, they're changing.
Right.
There's some, and it's probably not, they're not going to believe you the first or second time. I'm just going to go and tell you that right now.
Yep.
But you keep saying that, and that love, like you said, I love you, no. I love you, no. I love you, no. We don't even put a but in there.
You are correct.
And I love you, no. And when it's said enough times, some of us need to hear it more than once. Some of us need to hear it about 20. But there's going to be a light bulb. You are doing not only yourself a favor, but your loved one a favor, because they're going to realize, oh my gosh, something's changing. What's changing?
Mm-hmm.
That is one of the biggest fears I have found when I've talked to people in recovery. They're coming out of treatment. They said, I'm going to tell you, my biggest fear when I first got to treatment is hearing that my family was doing work.
Yep.
Because guess what? Their tactics are no longer going to work.
Right.
When they realize, oh my gosh, my family's getting help,
Mm-hmm.
that's a game changer.
Yep. Well, addicts and alcoholics, they're going to test your boundary. Every time, when you say no for the first time, they're going to be like,
What?
whatever.
Yeah.
And they're going to test that boundary, test that boundary, test that boundary. Expect it. Okay? Expect that you're going to have to say no to the same question probably 4 or 5 times. Okay? Say that, repeat the same answer. Don't give a new answer. Okay? I tell all of my families, your no gets them the yes that we want. We want them to go to treatment. We want them to say yes. But if you keep walking back onto the playground, we're not getting the yes. When you pull away from the playground and everyone says no, then it gets this person in a state of desperation where they say yes.
It exposes them.
It does.
You're just exposed. You're just out there. I love
Yeah.
that analogy. I'm borrowing that
Yeah.
one. I'm borrowing that
And
one.
like all of their, this is panic mode
Oh
for an
yeah.
addict and an alcoholic. And this is where we want them. This is where I want them
Exposed.
to move them to treatment.
Yeah.
They go into panic mode. Mom's not, and I tell them, Mom's not bailing you out anymore. Neither is Dad. Mom and Dad both told me no. Because that's what we do. We go down the list of all of the family members to try and find the weak link. Well, as a result of using professionals, everyone is on the same page. Everyone is a united front. Everyone is going to tell you no. That's a game changer.
It is. It is.
Number 2, don't react. Phone's ringing. Oh, yeah. Oh, she's calling. Or, oh, he's calling. Oh, huh. That's reacting. Not reacting is let that shit ring.
Let it go to voicemail.
And
Let
if
it go to voicemail.
And if it's important, they'll leave a message.
That's right.
Yeah. Don't react. Practice the pause. Don't react. If someone says something negative to you, I don't have to react. The silent one has the power. The silent one has the power. I gave up arguing long time ago. I ain't arguing with anybody for anything. I used to want to be right. Now I just want to be happy.
Yep.
All y'all can think whatever you want to think, and you're allowed to do it. I'm not going to argue with you. I will tell you what works, and I will lay this suggestion on the table, and you're either going to take this suggestion or you're not. But I ain't chasing after you anymore if you don't. You can walk yourself back to the table and take this suggestion, or you can leave it on the table. But I'm not arguing anymore. Number 3, see the disease, not the person. I'm going to go back to the phone's ringing, okay? And you want to react. Now you can see that the disease is calling, not your daughter. The disease is calling, not your husband. You don't see the person. You hate the disease, not the person. You know, the person deep down inside really does want help.
I agree with you on that.
But they're just so covered up by the disease. The disease is demanding to be fed. The disease is calling for its drug. The disease is calling for its money. So see the disease, not the person. And when you see your phone ringing, now you have a new tool and a new attitude and new insight. When you look down at the phone, you're going to say to yourself, oh, chaos is calling, or the disease is calling. You don't see your child, or your loved one. You see the disease. It's two different things. And you're locked and loaded with awareness now. Awareness is half the battle. Half. Amy and I have just given you half of the battle in 20 minutes. We gave you are halfway there already. The other part is your part to do the action, which is number 4, use your support system. And we hear that all the time. Hey, you gotta call your support system. You gotta go to a meeting. Call your therapist. You know, I can either play the victim, or I can be an empowered woman, and I can be an empowered wife, or I can be an empowered parent. And this is my journey, not theirs. And if I want to get better, I'm gonna do it. And so instead of when chaos calls or a crisis arrives, you don't react to it, you don't pick up the phone, and you don't go back to the playground.
Find another playground.
Right. You call your therapist, use them up. You call them and say, this has happened, what do I do? This has happened, what do I do? This has happened, what do I do? Use them. Use them up. It works. That's what they're there for. Every time that you do that, you get stronger and stronger and stronger.
Yeah, because you're moving this muscle. You're moving this muscle. Our brains, our beautiful brains are using that muscle. That is helping you think about this. And you're not going to start by using that. You're just going to listen to someone that knows more about this than you do. And, meetings, Al-Anon, CODA, Adult Child of Alcoholics and Dysfunctional Families. Those are all great 3 platforms, which every community, if you have a rural community, you can go on their websites. We're going to put their websites in the end of this show notes. But, you can go to the website and they still have meetings that are via Zoom. There's no excuse. There's 24 hours in a day. I tell people this all the time. There's 24 hours in a day. There's no excuse why you can't make a meeting. When I start people out, I said, I want you to go to 6 meetings. I want you to take notes. And then when you've done 6 meetings, we'll get back together and talk. Mm-hmm. And, sometimes I hear back from them in a week and a half. Sometimes I never hear back from them. Sometimes it's a couple of months. Because you know what? We expect our loved ones to go to treatment, to go to meetings, to go to a therapist. But what are we doing? We have to do the work too. Right. We have to do the work too. Yeah. I never ask anybody to do something I wouldn't do. Yeah. So if you have a loved one that is struggling and you're at your wit's end, you are the change that needs to happen first. Mm-hmm. You are the change, and whether they follow suit or not, you will have that change. You will have that strength. You will end the chaos cyclone. Mm-hmm. You can be a chaos crusher. You can either be the chaos coordinator or you can be the chaos crusher. What you gonna be?
Love it.
What are you gonna be today? The coordinator of the chaos or the crusher of the chaos, okay? Okay?
In conclusion, I tell my families, life is to be enjoyed, not endured. You have endured long enough. You have endured up to right now when you said, I'm going to do something different. Mm-hmm. The enduring is over, and you step over into enjoying. Mm-hmm. You have done a wonderful job at providing for your family, providing for your children, providing for your home, providing for your employees. You deserve to enjoy the rest of your life. Stop enduring and start enjoying.
I love that. Thank you. Kristy, thank you for this. I'm so excited. I love this. Get off the playground, honey. Get off that.
Yes,
just get off
girl.
The rotating playground. Love it, love it, love it. Thank y'all for joining. I don't know if the balloons are going to come up like they did the last time. Woo! I don't know. It doesn't do it anymore. Anyways, thank you so much. I hope you all have a great rest of your week.
We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.